What's up, beautiful people? It's your favorite cousin Rich back once again. And I was scrolling through the YouTube streets, and somebody who I was subscribed to had a video talking about why women shouldn't submit. And when I seen it, I said, oh man, Jesus, here we go again.
If you know me, you know I do not believe in no woman submitting to no man, because ultimately all you're doing when you're submitting is you're not submitting to him as if he's a leader, but you're feeding into his ego. Anytime a woman is in a submission or in a submitted role, she is feeding his ego. And when a man's ego is fed, he lacks being in touch with the true essence of himself.
I have a real issue with this. I have a real big issue with this whole submission thing. Because so many times I believe women have been told that submission is weakness. Submission is coming from a point of, giving up all your power. But if you ask real women out here who've been in long-term relationships, marriages, who understand power dynamics, who understand leadership, who understand all these things, who understand the realness of ego versus being a leader, someone who's rooted in God and getting his direction from God in order to lead a family properly, right? So this woman said, what did she say?
I do not believe in no woman submitting to no man, because ultimately all you're doing when you're submitting is you're not submitting to him as if he's a leader, but you're feeding into his ego.
Well, that might be the men that you choosing. Men who are rooted in their ego. Because it's a lot of men out here who are operating through the will of God, operating through the word of God, getting their direction from God. And now I know she says she's not religious. I'm not religious either. I'm not a Bible thumper, but I'm spiritual. And I know everybody looks at the leader when something happens. Inherently, women look at men to lead. And I know a lot of women now are rooted in their masculinity, which is their ego being so big that they haven't learned their power of their femininity. So they mask being rooted in their masculinity and not wanting to submit. That's how they mask their masculinity. By putting it on you that you're going to have an ego if she submits. This allows her not to submit. This allows her not even to try. This allows her not even to rest in her femininity, knowing that that is her strength. Knowing that if she trusts this man to lead her, she is empowering him. Now, you could be empowering the wrong man who's rooted in his ego and not really knowing who he is. Yeah, that's a problem. But to say that is all men, and for you to open up your mouth and spread that, you should be ashamed. What makes you think that that is true? What examples have you seen of long-lasting marriages where a woman has said, I don't have to submit. I don't submit. I don't trust him. What man is really going to be loving his woman and taking care of his woman, providing for his woman, protecting his woman, if deep down inside he knows that she don't trust him? If you have a son, you going to teach him that same rhetoric, that he shouldn't be a leader? Because people submit to a leader. A lot of y'all look at femininity as a subservient role, yet that is your power. That is your power. That is your superpower. But a lot of y'all don't know that because of the rhetoric that y'all continue to spill. That is the empowerment that you have. That's what makes a man get up and want to work every day, hard every day. When a real man knows that he has your trust, that is the ultimate thing that you could ever do. And this is why a lot of y'all will be single, because of the lies that y'all continue to live in. If you don't trust a man's leadership, If you don't trust a man, period, of where he's going himself, then why are you even with him? For you to even bring up the subject of submission is a subservient role, or submission is going to be your downfall. When somebody breaks in your home at night, you going to go attack the robber, or you going to look at him to attack the robber? If we going on a journey somewhere, I'm submitting to the person who knows the course. I'm submitting to the person who's going to take us to our promised land. That's the person who I put my trust in. So if I'm a woman and I'm in a relationship with somebody, I can't be in a relationship with somebody if I don't trust where they're going, if I don't trust them to protect me, because I know I'm empowering this person with the femininity that I am bringing to the table. Now, I'm saying in a position if I am a woman. If you truly know your strength as a woman and your femininity and what you can do when you empower a man through submission, through care, through love, through trust, a lot of y'all don't trust yourself. So you put on this projection. That's really what it is. And then in the comment section, they say that man doesn't exist. Well, let me ask you something. Are you the woman to even notice a man like that?
Got him!
Are you even a woman to be able to be prepared for a situation like that? That's the question. Because a lot of y'all won't even be able to handle it if it appeared right in your face. If that man appeared from the heavens, came down from the heavens and walked right upon you, you wouldn't even be able to handle that situation. Why? Because you're not even rooted in your femininity enough. Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself, if this person appeared, am I the woman that's able to build this man up through my femininity, through my superpower? Am I able to submit to that man if his ego is not involved? A lot of y'all can't. Like I said, a lot of women now use the excuse of not being religious in order to not submit to a man. Religion has nothing to do with it. You see it with animals. Don't you see it with lions? In the jungle? Don't you see how they submit to the male lion in order for him to protect? That ain't no submissive role, even though it's submission. But when I'm saying submissive role is how y'all playing it. Submissive, being weak, giving up your power. A lot of y'all been dealing with the wrong men, and this projection is starting to show. That's really what it is. A lot of y'all spilling this rhetoric out here really shows the type of people that you've been dealing with. And it shows. So instead of saying that submitting to a man is a woman's weakness because it builds his ego, why don't you start saying, if you submit to the wrong man, it's going to be your downfall because it's inflating his ego. But if you're submitting to the correct man, a man rooted in himself, rooted in God, is rooted in his purpose and is going somewhere, you're doing nothing but building him up even more. That's it. Hey, that's my spiel. That's my take. Let me know what y'all think. I could be right. I could be wrong. Y'all let me know. Because deep down inside, people know the truth. They just come on here and spill these things and because they got a little following and it makes them feel good. We're stopping all that. Truth only. Anyways, it's your favorite cousin Rich. Y'all be safe out there. Love and blessings.